Welcome into Fantasy Filmball, the show where we turn movies into sports and sports is just something that we don't talk about. My name is Dyl, reporting here from the 5th and final day of the 36th Annual Virginia Film Festival. And today we have 3 movies on the docket. Regardless, to kick off at day number 5, I will be seeing the France submission for Best International Feature, The Taste of Things. And surprisingly, this movie is a little controversial because they selected this over Anatomy of a Fall. That is a film I have yet to see. I will be seeing it on Tuesday after this film festival, but I am pumped for The Taste of Things. I've heard this movie makes you super hungry because it's about food. So let me dive into some grub before I watch this film. Every movie today is going to be here at the Paramount. Let's try a completely new area to sit at.
I am Professor of French at the University of Virginia, sometimes write about cinema. So I'm super excited to discover, along with you, this new film from Vietnamese-born French director Chan Anh Hong. So this film is based on a 1920 novel, La vie et la passion de Dodin Bouffant by Marcel Rouff, which has been through several editions, including an English translation as The Passionate Epicure. One thing I will be watching for is this director's interest in cinema as a medium to explore not just sound and image, the audio and the visual and audio-visual, but all 5 senses, and the connection of touch, taste, and smell to the body's knowledge and experience of and in the world. I want to make sure to thank the premier and platinum level sponsors of this screening, Harvest Moon Catering.
Movie number 11 of the Virginia Film Festival is now done, and that was the France submission for International Feature at the Oscars, The Taste of Things. And I mean, I was told I should eat before I go into this movie, and I was like, I don't have enough time to eat before, but I'll grab some snacks, and I'm sure glad that I did, because the cinematography in this movie, the way it's able to capture not just the meals themselves, but the preparation, everything that goes into the love and care of these 2 cooks and their culinary skills was on full force. It was my highlight of this movie. I think the pacing is a little slow at times, but the screenplay is very powerful. I think our 2 leading performances here are very well done, as well as some of the supporting cast. I think there's some great comedy moments like interspersed throughout this film, as well as some very emotional and connective drama. But you cannot talk about The Taste of Things without talking about this lush and beautiful cinematography, the way it's able to capture these satisfying, tasty, tantalizing, I don't want to use food puns, but like I'm trying not to, meals is awe-inspiring. Like, so, I'm a picky eater. I don't know if a lot of people out there know. I'm a little picky when it comes to food. I'm sitting here now about to eat some like cardboard pizza here at the film festival before I go into May, December, and there was meals up there, I'm like, that looks so yummy. I want to indulge, I want to try that. And I think that's just a great success and a strength of The Taste of Things. People always talk about like the 4D experience, like, oh, I'm gonna go to a cinema to see, to hear, to feel, to taste, to smell. And I think The Taste of Things, more so than like a blockbuster like Transformers or Fast and Furious or Indiana Jones, this is a movie that deserves to be in like a 4DX cinema. We can smell these foods, you can see it, you can hear it, because I think the sound design of this movie as well is very immaculate. You can hear the pops of the boiling water. You can hear the food mush around in the bowls that they're messing around with it. I don't know. I just think The Taste of Things very much delivers in what it's trying to do. And that's a theme I've noticed a lot here at the Virginia Film Festival this year. Have I thought a lot of these movies are 10 out of 10s? Not necessarily, but I think they have all expertly done what they're setting out to do. Terrestrial Versus, is that going to be one of my favorite films of the festival? No, but I think it very much effectively tells the story that it's trying to do. The Taste of Things is doing that as well. It's giving you that audio-visual experience that you want from a film like this. But now it's time to dive into awards prospects, because, as we all know, France went with The Taste of Things over Anatomy of a Fall, which was a pretty controversial decision if you ask a lot of people out there online. I haven't seen Anatomy of a Fall yet. I go on Tuesday because it just opened up here in Richmond, Virginia on Friday. But after seeing Taste of Things, I fully understand why they went with this selection. It's an easy to watch movie. It's very much a crowd pleaser. You watch it and you're super engaged because it has food, it has drama, it has love, it has comedy. It checks off all the boxes. And it's a brisk, easy 2 hours. As I said, I thought it was a little long at points, but again, this is movie number 11 in 5 days. I'm probably not the best gauge of pace and stuff because I've watched a lot of cinema over the last few days. However, I've seen some talk of IFC maybe pushing this for Best Picture, Director, Acting, Screenplay. I don't personally see that with The Taste of Things. I think this is just an international feature contender, and to me, that means it will not win the category over Zone of Interest, which I can see break into picture, break into director, adapted screenplay, sound, cinematography. Have I seen the Zone of Interest? No, but I have heard the raves from people, even people here at the Virginia Film Festival, where the film did not even show. They saw that in Middleburg, they saw that in New York, they saw wherever they saw it, and they were saying, this movie is so well crafted. And even people who don't love the movie, they're like, it sticks with you, it haunts your mind, and it's a feat of directorial achievement, and that just further cements my idea of laser and director, zone and picture, and then it can only go up from there. Scratch that. Actually, Oscar chances here for The Taste of Things. I said international feature. Personally, I would love to see this get a cinematography nomination. As I mentioned, the way it's like lusciously capturing the food, it's making it so tantalizing, so delicious, and you can just like, you just want to be in it. And I feel like that would be a nomination I would love to see for it. Is it going to get that? I'm not sure. Cinematography is pretty stacked this year, but I could see as a possible additional nomination of Taste of Things is a lot stronger and trying to make a Best Picture push. I think it is a strong international feature contender. I would put it above Perfect Days as my number 2 in the category. And this is the last international feature contender I will be seeing here at the Virginia Film Festival. So my current lineup would be, after seeing everything, I still have The Zone of Interest at number 1, The Taste of Things at number 2, 20 Days in Mariupol at number 3, which I did not get to see, Perfect Days at 4, and I'm keeping Four Daughters in as my number 5 slot. I think that is much stronger in documentary feature, but I think it could slide into international as well. One movie down, 2 more to go today. We got May December and American Symphony, but you want to stick around to the very end of the video because I will be doing my 2023 Virginia Film Festival Fantasy Filmball Awards, and we'll do a little bit different. It's not going to be like Matt's at TIFF where he's going to have 5 nominees per category like the actual Oscars. No, 1 winner each category, and I'm going to do it like Venice where you can only win 1 award. So if you win Best Film, you can't win Screenplay. If you win Best Lead Performance, you can't win Director. And I feel pretty generous this year. I feel like the selection I've seen here at the Virginia Film Festival has been pretty good. So the awards are going to be Feature, Lead Performance, Supporting Performance, Directing, Screenplay. Then we're going to have Ensemble. We're going to have an interesting one because there's so many international animated and documentary features I get to see at this festival. We're gonna have a category just for that, to recognize an extra one of those movies, because this year I'm pretty sure I have a 7-6 split of, you know, big studio movies to those docs, those internationals, and those animated features. And then I saw 13 movies this year. That's 6. I want to recognize over half of them. So we're going to add 1 extra category. That is going to be Scene of the best individual scene of the entire festival. So you'll definitely want to stick around to the end of the video because we'll have those awards as well as a live performance from Jon Batiste. And of course, we had to show up early for our new seat. And May December time. Also, I wish I was up here all week. Look how much more legroom there is.
On the fall circuit, I was very lucky to be amongst the first to see this at the Cannes Film Festival. This is a film from Todd Haynes. The film dives into the world of tabloid culture and our obsession with fame, and that undulating line between how we portray ourselves, how others perceive us, and what we consider to be our true selves, none of which are, of course, quite aligned. May December has been universally praised by critics and audiences alike since its debut at the Cannes Film Festival. But what's interesting as you read the reviews or you talk to people is there has not been any commonality in how people talk about the film. It's been quite fractured. Some people think it's an uproaring comedy, and others a dark satire, a discomforting drama, a tragedy, a lurid tale of abuse, a melodrama, or a societal corrective. And really you could say it's all of the above, or you could say it's none of the above, and I'm curious to see after the film what you think. It's really up to you. The film is sprinkled liberally with glossy hallmarks of high camp and soapy melodrama. This is, I would say, like nearly all of my favorite films in the festival, a conversation starter. And it's a film so elusive and so richly layered that I expect that conversation to be long, fulfilling, and one you'll return to in the days to come. And I don't want to get in your way anymore.
I am fresh out of my film ball pick, May December, and there are a lot of thoughts here. This has been one of my most anticipated of the year since we first started doing our Oscar predictions all the way back in January. And the first thing I want to say is I've heard a lot of reports that this movie is camp. I did not really find it to be camp outside of the musical score, which comes in at the most campy and funny and awkward moments at times. However, May December packs a core 3 of outstanding acting performances. First off, I want to mention Julianne Moore. She perfectly depicts this archetype of a character that you're not supposed to sympathize with, but you are intrigued with their every move and just how their brain works. Natalie Portman plays our actress who's learning about Julianne Moore's character and her life story, and you can never really feel out where she currently lies, and I think that just showcased how brilliant her performance is, because at the end of the day, you do come to realize what her role was, what her point was in the story, and how she's able to execute to get basically everything that she wants. And, I mean, we can't forget about my man, the boy, Riverdale star, Charles Melton, who honestly is brilliant in this role. He starts off very, very contained. It's a self-contained performance where he's not showing a lot, but you can feel there's something below the surface. And as this story progresses, as we get to know these characters a little bit more, little cracks start to poke out where we get to learn more about Melton's character until eventually we hit a major scene where he gets to unleash just a lot. And I don't want to go into too much detail because this is definitely one that people should seek out once it hits Netflix later this year. Todd Haynes has such an interesting eye behind the camera. There's a lot of interesting shots that are set up, as well as just how the story flows. The screenplay, it is witty, it is charismatic, it is drama-filled, and honestly, it's pretty funny. May December was a great time. It's one that I can definitely find myself wanting to watch again to unpack more of the story, to maybe pick up on some cues as I'm watching this film. But this is an Oscar channel. Let's dive into some Oscar talk. I have been saying all year that I think this could be a Best Picture nominee until we got the early reactions for Maestro, and that seemed to be Netflix's #1 push. So currently I do have May December out of my Best Picture lineup, and after watching the movie, I think I still have to have on the outside looking in. However, this has so much above the line potential. As I mentioned, we have actress, supporting actors, original screenplay. And honestly, I could see this being our lone original screenplay nominee. The screenplay is great. It deserves a nomination. That category also is a little bit weaker, so it could slide in there. Charles Melton would be in my personal supporting actor 5, but as I feel like we talk about in every one of these episodes, that category is stacked with a top 4, and I feel like our number 5 needs to be someone from a very strong Best Picture player, or just someone who sweeps a lot of the critical awards, which I don't think Melton will get to do, but he would be very deserved. Julianne Moore makes sense for a nomination. She's doing a lot, she's showing a lot, and you really don't like her character, which is the point, but you don't like her character, and I don't know if people are gonna go out of their way to vote for a character that they despise, that they hate, that they do not want to see on the screen. And the lead actress is super deep. It's super packed this year, and Natalie Portman would be my weakest of the 3, so I don't think she breaks into that lineup, but she could show up at Globes in the drama category since they do have 6. Overall though, May December, great film, seek it out. And as usual, let's hop in the standby line, this time for American Symphony. Ticket acquired. Hey, call me stupid, but let's head all the way up here.
To cap off the 2023 36th Annual Virginia Film Festival, then by screening American Symphony. It was such a pleasure earlier today to welcome Jon Batiste to Cars Hill on UVA grounds. It is my great pleasure to present Matthew Heineman with the Virginia Film Festival's Directorial Achievement Award. This award,
it's such a privilege and honor to be able to tell stories, and American Symphony is definitely the greatest honor of my life to make, so I hope you enjoy, and we'll be here afterwards to chat, so thank you again for coming.
There's such a premium to privacy and discretion, particularly when you're in the age of celebrity and you're in a public position. The mystique of what happens when you're not dressed to the nines with the lights hitting you on stage, to let that go definitely was a big deal, but beyond even that, it was something that was more of a family decision, and one that was difficult, and we continually had to reassess. Throughout the process of every month, there was a moment or two where we were like, maybe we should cut it right here. It was a dance, you know, the dance of collaboration, even in the way that you think about a symphony. There's all of these forces that come together, and particularly tough balancing these forces at times. You know, the bass section is the lowest, the underpin of the orchestra, and the bass is oftentimes playing in company with the percussion, which could just blast everyone out. So you have the loudest instrument oftentimes having to work together with the lowest instrument. And it felt like the symphony of life was unfolding as this film was happening. And we were in this moment where it felt bigger than us. And it felt like what we were capturing was an act of God that was meant for us to share through our lived experience. And beyond that intuition, there's no real logical reason as to why, with everything that was happening, it felt like we should keep going. It just felt much bigger than us. And the story felt like something that, you know, it was more important than even our privacy for this 7 months. 2, 3.
We love Gangsta Life, y'all.
my rain dance. Give me love for the life in me.
I am fresh out of the closing night film here at the 36th Annual Virginia Film Festival, and that was the documentary American Symphony, focusing on the Grammy Album of the Year award winner Jon Batiste's life, but it kind of subverts expectations a little bit. It is not about his rise to fame and his birth of his musical talents. It more focuses on a struggle that's currently going on in his life. While on the outside looking in, he may seem to be on top of the world. He's doing a performance at Carnegie Hall. He received 11 Grammy nominations in one morning and then went on to win Album of the Year. Is having a second battle with cancer within 10 years. I think the documentary does a great job of introducing us to Batiste and the people around him, not just the star, but the man himself. And he oozes with charisma. He oozes with charisma, and he seems so nice and so warm. And it's just so sad to see that some people who are so friendly and put out such good energy and are just generally good people in the world have to endure so much struggle in their life, and struggle that is a never-ending loop as we learn inside the film. I think that American Symphony does a great job of not just being a generic documentary or a picture piece of just one person and how great they are, but it does a great job of showcasing who this person is and what this person can persevere in. So let's dive into, for the last time, some Oscar prospects. And for American Symphony, it is documentary feature and original song or bust. The documentary feature branch doesn't always love these films about individuals. They tend to go more to social cause documentaries. However, I feel like this film does a great job, as I've mentioned before, of not focusing on his gifts, his abilities, his style, the hardship in his life, and how his partner and him are persevering and overcoming it, which I feel like many voters can relate to, because sadly cancer is something that millions of people have to deal with every single day, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to that, and it may get some votes there. And if this is in documentary feature, then original song could come along with it. But even on the flip side, this could still get an original song nomination without the documentary feature nomination. So at the moment, I have this in for both of those slots. It's my number 5 for documentary, and it's my number 5 for song. The song category, it's an entire mess. We just put out a video about that category and just how funky and weird it is this year. As I talked about it earlier today, now I want to dive into my personal 2023 Fantasy Filmball Virginia Film Festival awards. And let's just start off right at the top. best feature film, American Fiction. I raved about this in the Day 2 vlog. I think that this is the funniest film, the most entertaining film, the most engaging film. It has a stacked ensemble, a witty satirical script, and it's one I feel like will be endlessly rewatchable. For the second award, let's dive over to Achievement in Direction, and I think I'm gonna have to go with Origin with this one. I think that maybe I have some issues with the film overall, but I think Ava DuVernay's craft that goes into this movie is very much reflective on screen. We feel what the intention of this film is. Part of that is the screenplay, but most of that is in the directing style and how it is asserting its message in a clear, informative, and engaging way. So let's switch things up over to the acting performances. Outstanding lead performances and go to Koji Yakusho in Perfect Days. I raved about this in the vlog from yesterday. He's able to do so much with so little dialogue. We can feel his emotions, whether those are through the roof, ecstatic, loving life, or when stuff starts to go astray. And he is no longer having a perfect day, for a lack of phrase, but the Cannes Film Festival award that went to him is much, much deserved. And, you know, I give mine to him as well. And for Outstanding Supporting Performance, it's going to be a movie I saw today, May, December, and it's going to the one, the only Riverdale star, Charles Melton. In the first quarter of this movie, he's very reserved. He has to keep things inside, but we can see this lingering tension. And as this movie goes on and on, we see the dramatic chops in full force. But one thing I don't want to go unheard of, unspoken of about his performance is in a certain scene on a rooftop, he delivers some amazing comedic movements, whether that is with his voice, with his line deliveries, or just with his bodily functions. I don't know. Charles Melton, he's great in this movie. I would love to see him get into supporting actor. And on this note, I feel like we should dive into Ensemble of the Fest. And this one is a little bit of a different choice, but I am going to go with Four Daughters. Is this cheating? Maybe. It's a documentary. There's only two real actors, but I feel like the two real daughters, the mother, and the two actresses that come into play, the other daughters, are all fantastic and captivating the screen. And I could just rave about Four Daughters, but I think it's just one that you should go out and see so you can just rave about it as well. Then let's dive over to the screenplay. This is one that American Fiction would have won, but I like to limit my awards to one per film, so it's not just me raving about one movie the whole time through. I sure do say rave a lot, but my screenplay winner is going to be a little bit off the rails, you could say, and that is Sleep, the Korean horror film. This one was my surprise of the fest. It subverted all my expectations. It was so captivating, and it had me on the edge of my seat throughout the whole entire film. And I don't want to dive into too much of it, but its screenplay was immaculate. So now it's time for our final two categories. The first one is going to be one I think is pretty cool. I made it myself, so it's got to be cool. But that is Most Outstanding Animated Documentary International Feature. I saw a ton here at the fest, and I feel like I should give some props to them because they made up about half of the films I saw here, and sometimes they can't really fit into actor, or they can't fit into some of these other categories. And this may be recency bias. I'm fresh out of American Symphony, but that's going to be my documentary award. You don't got to go far. I mean, if you made this far in the video, you already know what my thoughts are on this film. And if you haven't made this far in the video, as always, consider a subscription, a like, a comment. It helps us grow, helps you stay connected. And the final award here for the 36th Annual Virginia Film Festival will be my Scene of the Year. And this comes from a movie I didn't particularly love, but it had a remarkable 5, 6, however long minute sequence it was in a cathedral, and that would be Bradley Cooper's Maestro. Cooper's directing skills were on full force here. The sound design, the cinematography, the lack of editing, and I just very much dug this sequence. But that is a close to another year and another great time here at the Virginia Film Festival. And because I have a long drive back, we gotta get some nice food.